Welcome. Today I'll introduce the human resource frame by putting it in the context of broader social and economic changes unfolding in the world. Global competition, turbulence in the environment, and rapid change have highlighted the enduring organizational dilemma. Is it better to be lean and mean or invest in people? A number of strategies that focus on reducing the workforce, such as downsizing, outsourcing, and the use of temporary and part-time workers, have been widely used to reduce the cost as well as increase the flexibility and generate organizational profits. But these strategies also risk the loss of talent and loyalty and have produced disappointing results. On the other hand, a number of successful companies have done the opposite. They have invested in people on the premise that a highly educated and skilled workforce provides a powerful competitive advantage. These scenarios raise several questions. Are people your most important asset? Or do organizations exploit people and just chew them up and spit them out? How you view people in organizations will affect everything you do as a manager and a leader and impact the productivity of workers. Although I will briefly review several theories that illustrate the basic tenets of the human resource frame, I would suggest that you review the background readings, PowerPoints, and short YouTube lectures that are available online. This will provide a solid foundation for you to understand the HR frame and help you in analyzing the assigned case study. The human resource frame is focused on the well-being of people in the organization. This frame advances the notion that the key to improving organizational effectiveness is to tailor organizations to meet the needs of people while getting the job done. In other words, an effective manager ensures that the needs of both the organization and its workers are met. The assumptions of the human resource frame include: 1. Organizations exist to serve human needs. 2. Organizations and people need one another. Organizations need ideas, energy, and talent, and people need careers, salary, and work opportunities. 3. When the fit between the individual and the organization is poor, one or both suffer. And 4. A good fit between individuals and organizations benefits both. Human beings find meaningful and satisfying work, and organizations get the human talent and energy they need to be successful. A central concept in psychology is need. However, it's hard to define and even more difficult to measure. Individuals strive to satisfy their needs and seek out organizational environments that enable them to grow physically and psychologically. Given this basic premise, managers may create the circumstances in which people are able to meet their needs while also meeting organizational goals. For example, if managers create situations that are fulfilling, individuals experience contentment and happiness. In these situations, they develop, flourish, and the organization benefits. Or if managers create situations that are alienating, individuals experience anger, frustration, fear, depression, and boredom. In these situations, they are psychologically undernourished and do not flourish, and both the individual and the organization suffer. Let's frame the idea of motivation with this reality check. You're only as good as the people in your organization. Motivation is rooted in individuals striving to meet their needs and is the basis for purposive behavior. Thus, motivating employees is a pivotal concern for managers and leaders. This schematic shows the relationship between human needs, motivation, and purposive behavior. Motivating people is complex, and each approach is idiosyncratic to individuals and their organizational environment. Thus, reducing these concepts to simple mechanical processes may prove counterproductive. Rather, effective managers and leaders use a more holistic approach that takes several variables into account, including 1. Individuals are motivated by their own intrinsic needs, external demands, expectations, and environmental conditions. In other words, behavior is a function of personality times environment. 2. Managers and leaders may influence the nature and quality of worker motivation. 3. Coercive attempts to motivate workers using rewards and sanctions are short-term strategies that will engender resistance. 4. Long-term facilitative approaches that encourage and support members to strive for self-actualization tend to increase the efficiency of the organization and benefit individuals. 5. Managers and leaders are key actors in creating growth-enhancing environments through nurturing the organization culture and climate. This is a long-term investment. Perhaps one of the most influential descriptions of motivation is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. According to Maslow, needs are arrayed in a hierarchy. Lower needs are prepotent. In other words, lower needs have to be met before individuals are motivated to meet new, higher, more important needs. If you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you'll see that physiological needs must be met before safety needs, and safety needs must be met before social and belonging needs are met, and they are prepotent to esteem and self-actualization. Another important human resource theory is McGregor's Theory X and Theory Y. In Theory X, managers view workers as passive and lazy, prefer to be led, and resist change. The manager's task is to provide high direction and close supervision of workers. In Theory Y, managers view workers as finding work satisfying, exercise initiative, accept responsibility, and like participating in decision-making. Managers' basic task is to ensure that workers meet their important needs while they get the job done. Either theory can be self-fulfilling prophecy. In other words, the way you see workers will determine how you treat them. Chris Argyris discussed the relationship between personality and organizations. Traditional Theory X management principles tend to produce conflict between people and organizations. In addition, task specialization produces narrow, boring jobs that require few skills. In addition, when managers treat workers like children and provide highly directive leadership, workers become dependent and adapt to frustration by withdrawing that produces absenteeism, or they quit their job. Others may become passive and apathetic. Another way workers resist top-down control is through deception, featherbedding, or sabotage. They form groups, such as labor unions, and train their children to believe that work is unrewarding. During the last several decades, the person-organization relationship has become problematic. As global economic forces increased competition and the need for change, organizations moved in two different directions. Some organizations placed a premium on adaptability to rapid changes occurring in their external environment and started downsizing employees, outsourcing work, and using temps or part-time workers. In other words, they went lean and mean and tried to survive by cutting costs. Other organizations faced with the same global forces moved in the opposite direction. They recognized their dependence on a well-trained, skilled, and loyal workforce and consequently invested in people. They believed that they would thrive if they attracted and nurtured talented people as the economy shifted from a production-based to an information-intensive economy. Let's take a look at companies that went lean and mean. When faced with global competition, many companies sought to reduce cost and increase flexibility in adapting to business fluctuations by getting rid of unnecessary staff. In some instances, downsizing and investing in computer-assisted manufacturing paid off by increasing productivity. Downsizing may work when corporations combine new technology and smart management. However, organizations have to be careful not to pursue short-term gains, such as profits, and risk long-term health of the corporation, university, school district, or school. Here are some examples of dumb-sizing. Chainsaw Al Dunlop. He downsized Scott Paper Company and doubled profits, but morale declined and they lost market share. He walked away with $100 million, but ruined the company. Nardelli at Home Depot. He cut staff, including veterans who knew products. Customer complaints increased and his board pushed him out. He received a $210 million severance package and they nearly ruined the company. Downsizing and outsourcing sacrifices knowledge, skill, innovation, and loyalty and has a corrosive effect on employee motivation and commitment. When this occurs, cutting people hurts more than it helps the bottom line. An alternative strategy is investing in people. Scholars made the case that investing in a skilled and highly motivated workforce provides a powerful strategic advantage in both adapting to changes and increasing performance. Here are two examples. Southwest Airlines paid a competitive wage and its highly committed workforce was very productive, giving it a competitive advantage. American Cast Iron Pipe. Its progressive human resource practices attracted skilled workers and turnover was low. In conclusion, understanding the relationship between people and the organization is the central focus of the human resource frame. Organizations need people for their energy, effort, and talent, and people need organizations for intrinsic and extrinsic rewards. Finding the correct balance between these needs is essential for both organizations and people. I've added some terms at the end of the PowerPoint that may be helpful in understanding the HR frame. Thanks.